Call meeting to order, going to review the budget committee meeting minutes. Anybody have any adjustments?
What was the question?
We're doing the minutes first, approving, making the adjustment.
I don't, oh, this one is.
So if they want to.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 21st
I'll
minutes.
second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Now the warrant articles, we'll go through them.
I want to bring up the library budget at some moment during this meeting.
Right now, we're doing the
Yes,
warrant
that's fine,
articles.
but I'm just giving you the heads up.
I have 3 that need adjustments too, so. Police, ambulance, selectmen. I think that's it. Yeah. Anyhow, sorry, warrant articles. Do you want me to kind of go through them because they came from the selectmen, or
Yeah,
just
well,
want everybody to
I
read
mean,
them on their own, or?
you can explain this first one to us.
Okay, so the first one,
I
Yep.
thought this, the first one was already done.
it had been done, and I don't remember what year, 2019 maybe?
Right, yeah.
But what happened was, oh, didn't we add the bill in there? We didn't. I thought we added the bill number. Maybe it's not. Okay, anyhow, we talked about it. I guess we decided we didn't have to. There was a bill that passed in Concord, went into effect in July, that added current servicemen and women, active duty, to this this particular veterans tax credit. So the DRA said that in order for it to be valid, we would have to re-adopt it because it added new people to the mix.
Yeah.
So that's all this is readopting what was previously done.
Right, it just
And,
adds some language.
Yeah, the RSA changed the language to include continues to serve, or an officer who continues to serve. So that's all that is. It's just readopting it. And we did address that in our selectmen's year-end report. So hopefully there's an explanation enough. And I know that the Legion folks are getting the word out as well, so people understand that it's not a new credit. The dollar amount didn't change. It's just open up to current active duty military as well. And the selectmen did recommend that. Actually, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. We recommended all the articles that we put on. Okay.
Board have any consensus of not recommending it or recommend it?
I would recommend it. It's been in place for quite a number of years, so I can't see taking something away.
No, I can't either. But Sandy made a motion to accept the first one as recommended by the budget committee. All those in favor say aye.
Fine.
Opposed
Was
say
it seconded?
you did.
Aye.
All right. The second one is for the purchase of the new ambulance. So the purchase price is $263,059. We're looking that we're anticipating a $50,000 at least USDA grant that the ambulance folks applied for. That won't be determined until at least April. $30,000 to come from the ARPA funds, because that's about what we gave the fire department for air pack, so it seemed fair. $20,000 from the ambulance revolving account, and then $163,059 from the capital reserve account. That'll leave a few dollars in there, so we can start building towards the next time we need an ambulance. Plus, it was a nice, easy way to, that leaves $100,000 off the purchase price to come from other places. This one came from the attorney. We ran it to him because we weren't sure about the language because of the grant being unsure. So this is all his wording. Hopefully the DRA will also agree. He's got a caveat in there that in the event of a shortfall in available grant funds, the select board may use its authority under RSA 3159H to expend additional funds from the ambulance revolving account to make up the shortfall. And we also added at the end, no amount to be raised from additional taxation, so that's where that one's at.
It's an easy one.
Yeah.
Can you explain that one where it says no amount to be raised from additional taxation? You're referring to this particular warrant article.
Correct.
However, in here, there is $163,000 from the capital reserve fund. So
Right.
that is raised from taxes. So what it says at the end is kind of confusing to the fact that,
So, and that's why we put the word additional, from
okay,
additional taxation. Also, most of the money that's in the capital reserve fund, if you look back at the warrant articles that move money into there,
yeah,
it comes from their revolving account. So it's money that came in from insurance payments in the first place.
okay,
But we threw additional just to make sure it was clear that
okay.
even if some of that money did come from taxation, no additional money was
Additional,
coming from taxation.
I make a motion to accept and approve this.
I'll second it. Also, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Next one, oh wait, that's not a money one, doesn't matter to you.
No.
The next two don't matter to you. I don't know if this is the,
The third one don't either. The library
yes, you're right.
and number 8 doesn't.
Rec field cap, well, it does kind of involve money, but it's,
We're not talking any money, yeah, you're just talking,
right, well, yeah, it just says them remaining balance,
Right.
which
Is
is,
it 2 cents?
yeah.
We're on the one that,
number 8,
um,
so now we're moving to 9.
well, we have a comment on number 8.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is it advisable to keep that account open?
That's
For
something,
future.
all we're doing is recommending or not recommending money warrant articles. All these others,
Well, then I recommend they leave the money in there. How do you like that?
Well, that's up to the voters at this point.
right,
Okay.
number 9.
And number 9 is the historical, so we want to establish a historical records restoration capital reserve fund and put $5,000 in it. As you know, Bonnie comes and asks generally every year for $3,000, which she gets maybe 2 or 3 books done. And after we finally got an answer from her that there were 35 books left, we just ran the math and decided if we did this, we could be done in maybe 10 years. Whether or not they all get done in that time frame, at least the money's there, it's sitting there, it's earning a little interest, and she can do them at whatever pace, or whoever the town clerk may be, can do them at whatever pace they need to, rather than trying to cram to get so many done every year.
Let's all sit here and pretend we don't notice it. It's looking for a recommendation.
Sure.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
And I-
Opposed, say nay.
What do you say?
Abstain.
I'm sorry?
I abstain.
You abstain. Oh, okay.
Number 10.
Who's seconding? I'm sorry.
Maureen did. these are just the standard, we're putting money into the capital reserve. This was $40,000 for fire department, based off of the numbers Buddy McDowell gave us for a new engine and looking at where we're at right now.
When are we due to purchase?
Depends who you ask.
Right.
Somewhere between 10 years ago and yesterday and next year. Yeah.
That really helps us make a decision.
Money ain't there, you can't buy it, so.
That's true. But if the money is there and you don't buy it,
We don't have a fire truck.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll make a recommendation to
Which article are we on at this point?
10 capital.
10, to recommend that.
The 40,000.
Mhm.
All those in favor say aye.
Who seconded?
Aye.
Sandy did.
Opposed, say nay. 11.
11 again. Highway Department capital reserve, $75,000. As you all know from going through the budgets this year, we have spent an enormous amount of money repairing the vehicles that are held together with chewing gum and twine, I think. So, yeah. Jeff asked if we would be a little more aggressive or a little more assertive, I guess, in saving towards replacing things.
Somebody want to recommend or not recommend?
Sure.
Somebody want a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Number 12.
$50,000 for the bridge capital reserve, but this one we chose to, so we changed it, instead of the money coming from taxation, we added the sum to come from the unreserved fund balance, because we just got that big bump from the state in December that we haven't spent. So we know that we can put that in there, and we're still got that Wild Meadows culvert project going on, so it'll probably get spent pretty quick, but
What is the state of the bridges at the moment? I never keep, how many bridges are there still that we have to?
we have none on the red list because the state changed the criteria.
Right. That's no longer a red list.
Right. Yeah, I think, is Wild Meadows even orange? The one by Pudgy's house? I don't even think that's got a color anymore. It went from red list,
Right.
like 2017 it had to be done to
Done, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah,
Right.
dropped off, you know.
I make a motion to accept 50,000. Somebody want a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Next one's 60,000 for the paving of the town roads.
Make a motion to accept it.
All those, got a second, someone?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
15,000 for recycling capital reserve fund, which is the one that if we should need to close the dump, we would have whatever the money for, I'm not even sure what that would involve if we had to close it. I guess relocate, find a new spot.
Yeah.
I thought we had a separate account for that at one time, didn't we, for dump closure?
There is an account set up, but it has been touched throughout the years.
So, but it's different from this one?
No, it's the same thing. What
It's the
they're
same
doing is
thing, okay.
looking to add 15,000 to that account.
But I didn't realize it was called the recycling capital reserve fund. I thought it was a dump closure fund, something to that effect.
Yeah, I believe, the name that,
That renamed.
yeah.
Who seconded, Catherine?
Yeah.
Catherine, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she might.
Okay. I couldn't hear. Sorry.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. 10,000 to the town hall repair capital reserve fund.
I'll make a motion.
All, somebody second.
I'm second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
15,000 for the property tax reval, capital reserve fund.
We have no options here.
Well, you do, because the thinking is, the selectmen are trying to do, what they tried in the past, which is try to save the taxpayers' money by putting some money away each year to
Yeah.
pay for it.
Right. There's not that big
Rather
bump in
than
the
getting the
fifth year.
big one at the
Right,
end of the, yeah,
exactly.
but that's what I mean, we really don't have an option if we're acting responsibly. That's what I meant.
Right.
Should have.
Don't use that word here, please.
Responsible?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Somebody second it? I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. One more.
Last one, $3,000 for the Veterans Park Capital Reserve.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll
Somebody,
second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. That's all we need to recommend. Just so everybody knows, there's a copy of warrant articles over there. These warrants, go and take a copy and read them. We're so far ahead, I'll take and entertain, if anybody has questions on any of the warrant articles that need to be explained, we'll take the questions now.
In regards to the one giving the town clerk, was it 5,000? Is there anything, is that to be used in 1 year or at their leisure or completely open?
Whatever that says, whatever the selectmen feel is adequate. So the 5,000 may only cover, may cost 4,000 to do 2 books, so it's gonna leave $1,000 in there.
But are the selectmen going to be authorizing these as they come?
Yes, there's a, like Cindy had said, Bonnie said that there was like 35 books that need to be done. So whatever that 5,000 will do, they'll try to get done. They're not gonna, the publisher ain't gonna do a partial book.
Well,
So
I understand that. I'm saying it was previously 3,000, and she was asking per year, was it?
yes,
Or okay, so now it's 5,000. Is it going to be now 5,000 every year, or what is
We
this?
didn't do any last year,
right.
so it's actually.
So,
So
instead of having an individual warrant article each year asking for $3,000 that
Mhm.
might do 2 or 3 books,
Mhm.
what the selectmen decided was a more prudent way to do it was to set up a capital reserve fund. So that way the money can be spent as needed. It does not necessarily need to be spent within the current fiscal year. The thinking was for, say, 5 or so years, I think that was the number, was it 5 or 10? Whatever it was, we would put 5,000 away. So the project could get completed at whatever pace it needs to be completed at.
But theoretically, is there anything stopping for that entire amount being spent this year and then next year asking for another 5,000 to that account?
Okay, so it may very well get spent, it could. She typically does 2 or 3 books, which is $3,000. The anticipation is this will be a repeat request until there is enough money to cover the entire project and all the books can be done. With the selectmen being agents to expend, that simply means that when Bonnie, or whoever the town clerk may be, takes books in to be done and gets an invoice, that will get turned into the selectman's office, and we will make the request to the trustees of the trust fund, and they will approve it based on our signatures.
And
This is a silly question, but we appropriated 3,000 last year, and she didn't do any books. What happened to the 3,000? It just comes off the top.
Last year, we did not appropriate $3,000. The warrant article,
Oh, of course I
did
forgot.
we not even put it on, or did it fail?
I think it failed.
It failed. We did put it on, yeah, we did put it on and recommended against it, and it failed.
Okay, I forgot that.
Yeah, yeah. Does that answer your question, Jake?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions on it?
Yeah, yeah. Both the selectmen and budget committee recommended against it.
Right,
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Something going on.
yeah. Yeah, because she had taken and given one set of numbers and then took that numbers back and said that was a lie.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy over it the year before, so Sue sent her, and I probably have it in one of these stacks of paper with me. Sue sent her an email in January and asked her how many there were, and we got a reply in April.
But there is a finite number of books, they don't
Yeah,
increase year by year.
yeah, that's what kept happening. They kept turning up in strange places unexpectedly. She said it was 35, she said, and she had, I think there were copies floating around of exactly how many she felt were priority, how many could wait. Yeah.
Where are they, the ones that have been found?
The ones that have been done,
Yeah.
they're in our office, I think, somewhere
Yeah,
under
They're-
lock
they're
and
in-
key.
they're in
they're
her
file
office.
cabinet.
Can we see them ever?
I've never seen them.
I have. Some of them, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I bet. Did you have to wear gloves and a hazmat suit? Or?
No, I was town clerk.
Oh!
That's why she saw it, because that's where they are. it's
Sure,
in the town
sure.
clerk's office.
Some of them are very interesting though. There's a list of like Farmer Jones and how many sheep, how many cows, and how many chickens. And there's a poem, I can't remember, but it's a kind of cool poem written by someone in town back then. It's interesting to be able to go back and see what Grafton was like that many years ago.
You should have to be town clerk in order to be able to see them.
Since they're all laminated and fixed, we should be able to look at them now. I imagine packed in a box when they were fragile, you probably couldn't, but someone should test that. I'd be curious.
In regards to 12 and 13, the bridge fund and the paving roads, is there a plan for where these gonna be allocated?
I don't think we can actually answer that because the road agent's out plowing. And I haven't heard which roads, I don't know if the selectmen have or not.
Because last year at deliberative, it was said that there would be a plan that was presented this year, or is that just a?
We had hoped that one would come together, but the year
We say
not
that,
go the way we expected
year
it to.
after year after year. Now, we want to see a plan, we want to know how, and what's going to be done next. And as you can see, maybe next year or the year after.
It's a whole subject of almost every department in town.
Right, yeah,
We've talked about that, but nothing's
right.
happened.
Maybe next year we'll have a road crew that'll allow the road agent to pay attention to other things.
Yeah.
Jeffrey did tell us it costs like $80,000 to pave 2 miles of road.
Mm.
It's
but with that, I've got to make one statement when she says that. The thing being is, I never understood it until Jeffrey came in. When she says that 2 miles of road, that means that if that road is a mile long, that's 2 miles because they count one, they pay twice. Yeah. So it's, yes, so I just want to make that clear because I don't want people to go out, well, you only paved 1 mile of road. But it's up and back. Yeah, so that turns into what they classify as 2 miles of road.
And what this has historically been, at least as long, for the last decade or so, is it's repaving.
Right. Not
It's
new
not
paving.
creating a newly paved road, it is resurface, a fresh surface on an already paved road. When Jeff came to the selectmen, he talked a lot about paving roads that are currently dirt, which I was opposed to. I think Leaf and Tom were in favor of. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who the selectmen are and what happens and what Jeff does when that time of year comes. Yeah.
He was asked at our budget committee meeting if he had a choice, what road would he pave? And he did say Kingsman from top to bottom.
Oh, no, then I have to move.
Move to Kingsman.
Yeah, your taxes will go up.
I like living on dirt roads.
Do you know how many years it would take to pave Kinsman from one end to the
Oh,
other?
yes.
Paving at 1 mile a year,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be way gone.
Oh, yeah.
I guess this is a question not directly to the warrant article, but on that topic. Is there any idea of an average cost of a maintenance of a road that is paved versus one that dirt?
What was developed years back, because that same question was asked, is if the road ends up getting paid, it's actually cheaper. It's going to cost more upfront until you get it paid. But if all the roads in town were paved, the town wouldn't need a grader as big as what we have, and it would make a big difference. Whether
Car repairs for individual taxpayers would be
You
reduced.
get taxed more for living on a paved road than a dirt road.
What was that?
You get taxed more for living on a
Right.
paved road than a dirt road.
Which probably pay less in insurance.
We do have 65 total miles of road in
Right.
Grafton, and
Yeah.
56 of them are
Oh.
dirt roads. And I had asked him how much maintenance is required regularly, and he said on the dirt roads, sometimes it's 2 to 3 times that they have to grade during the year.
I brought up that I wanted to talk about the library budget and
But right now, we're talking warrant articles.
I thought we'd finished.
No, the clock hasn't hit 7 o'clock yet. At 7 o'clock, the public
Oh,
hearing.
okay, no, I just wanted to know what the time date is.
Yes, 7 o'clock was what,
Okay.
Historically, does Bunny every year put a warrant article for 3,000?
yes, yeah.
I have a question on the warrant article.
Yeah.
Not a money warrant article, can I question on that?
Yes, you can,
Warrant article number 7. To see if the town will vote to rescind Article 6 on the 2014 warrant that named the library trustees agents to expend from the library capital reserve fund strikes me as a very political gesture. What is the reason?
You want to speak to it, or should I?
Puts more power back to the people.
What?
He gives more power back to the people.
To the ignorant?
You don't have two groups running this fund.
Well, in this great sinkhole of Grafton where nobody reads a book, it's a great way of not having a new library, isn't it?
Is it because that it's up in the air on who is actually an agent to expend from the capital reserve fund?
No, that's not up in the air at all.
I'm saying the select board say one thing and the library say another thing.
Have a speculative.
There's no dispute over who's agent to expend right now. It is the
No, not
library
to-
trustees.
Well, arguing if the library has the power to.
Once that's rescinded, it means it has to be done by the people, a warrant article, right?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
They currently have the power to spend the money.
Okay, I see.
For myself, I agreed with putting it on because this is the second year in a row that the library trustees have come to the selectmen and asked for a warrant article to build something without having any plan whatsoever. And I fear for their irresponsibility. I fear that it's gonna cost the taxpayers a lot. Catherine, do you know what the holdup is with the bank statement that we weren't able to get updated MS9s before today?
Hmm?
Do you have any idea what the holdup was with the bank statement that we weren't able to get updated
No idea,
MS9s?
I called Sarah and said, has it arrived? And she said, no, it hasn't.
Right.
And I said, as soon as it arrives, will you, as not usual,
Right,
fax it down there.
right.
Has it not?
They come from Mascoma Bank, I
They
just,
came today.
My statement was
They
late,
came
it
today?
came today
Yes.
also.
did they get faxed?
Sue was gonna stop me. Because I talked to Sue this afternoon, and she said that she hadn't received the bank statements yet, and I let her know that they did come today, because my bank statement comes the same time as the
Okay,
town's.
but just because you have yours doesn't mean that Sarah has ours. Did you talk to Sarah? Sarah has them?
No, Sarah wouldn't have them.
The bank statement for the trustees of the trust fund that gets faxed to
Oh.
Three Bearings is picked up by
All
Sarah
right,
every month, and she faxes it over.
all right.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
talking the.
Yeah, no, Sue's got the revolving account
Right,
ones,
yes.
right, yeah.
No, I called Sarah and to chat with her on Friday and said I expect.
Well, I've been all over the second you get that, and yes, you do have to go to the post office every day, so that's, yeah, but it hasn't come. I just wondered if anybody bothered to call the bank and find out what the holdup was. No.
No,
I think it was the holidays, because normally our bank statements come before today.
Yeah.
They're like 3 days late.
It's just very hard to sit at the budget hearing to be going over all the numbers and not even have updated MS9s in front of us.
Right.
We're talking about capital reserve accounts, we don't know what the amount is.
Right.
I was actually just gonna ask how much is in the library.
I didn't, you know what, I didn't even bring one. I took the old MS9 out of my pile of stuff because I expected I'd have a fresh one today, and I didn't even think to grab it. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if I have that. Not the recent one, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have had a November one.
The one from the last town report was like 68,000 something.
Yeah, it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60, 62, 63. This is as of September. I
Okay.
don't know if they've had any introductions. I didn't pull the most recent one.
Okay.
Number 8, there's like nothing virtually left in there, right?
Is that the 2-cent one?
2 cents. Last time I saw an MS9 at 2 cents. I don't even think that's accumulated another penny yet. It's probably still.
That's kind of a thought, okay.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted that to be left open, and we talked about it at one of the budget committee meetings, was that the bandstand still needs to be repaired or rebuilt, or there's some issues with it, am I correct? So if you were to leave this open, you wouldn't have to ask for a new warrant article to do the bandstand.
We've already taken money to repair the bandstand.
Oh, so you're all set. Okay.
We also talked about that to change the purpose of it would be a 2/3 vote. To establish a new one would be easier.
Oh, okay. All righty.
For 2 cents.
Speaking of which, I don't think it really matters at this moment, but the fire truck one, or
Which number,
Does it-
please?
the number 3, no, the fourth one, isn't that a special warrant article? And shouldn't you, if you're printing it, shouldn't you put 2/3 vote on it?
The ambulance?
Yeah. Isn't that a, special warrant article?
It's a fine question, I don't know.
Yes, because it's over $100,000, so.
I don't know. As many times as we talked about it, that's the first time someone's made that
Yeah,
suggestion.
I think it's.
We ran it past the attorney, he didn't think so, so.
That doesn't, I believe
The
anything.
DRA will tell us.
Right. But I believe anything over $100,000, you have to have 2/3.
So special, this means you have to have a 2/3 approval.
Right.
To be a vote.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a simple majority.
Right.
Is it 2/3 or 3/5?
Judging by some of the people in town, I don't know.
5/3?
Right, yeah.
Do you want to review it, or do you,
Hmm.
do you want to review what a special warrant article is, or? You've got
You can
the,
read it to me if you want. No?
there's a lot to read.
Is
Well,
it?
Just the fine points.
I'm not seeing anything in this. These are the recent articles.
Because I may be wrong, you know?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah. I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong?
Yes,
Okay.
because that's back in 2014. This is 2023. Things change.
Yeah, it sure be nice if we had the internet here. I could just pull up these RSAs it's referring to, because I
Right.
have no idea.
Which RSA?
I still, what?
Which RSA?
So
The
it
second one.
speaks
The
here.
ambulance
Number
one.
four? Number four.
What is that?
Number 4, the ambulance.
Why do you have, are you able to connect?
Yeah.
RSA 32(7)A.
You got a hotspot sitting over there?
Just works. Not very fast.
For sure, we have a roof and lean over the edge and hold our phone out, we probably get there.
Yeah, it's, because that's where it talks about an appropriation of an amount for a capital project.
Right. I'm just telling you so that
Yeah,
if
no.
you've made a mistake, you can get it on there
I
before it goes
appreciate
to
it.
the printer.
Yeah. I appreciate it. And like I said, these all have to get submitted to the DRA before we
Yeah.
can even make the warrant, so I'm kind of,
They'll pick up on
I
it.
hopefully they'll pick up on it, but you know
But,
what?
you know, they're doing the work for all the towns in the state, so,
I
you
get
know,
it.
they
Yes.
could, you know.
They've
go
not
last
been very
minute, look at
helpful.
ours.
So you're how screwed up the state is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do.
No, they're worse this
I'll tell
year
you
than
what,
that.
poor Sarah
Yes.
putting this default budget together,
Yes.
they were not helpful at all. They were actually the opposite of helpful.
Opposite, right.
Yeah.
Tell her that, but
Telling her to do one thing that she didn't even need to do and
Right.
sending her down
No.
rabbit trails.
Yes.
to go
Oh,
down.
my word.
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying, the state is screwed.
Do you know which title?
I'm sorry.
The title?
See here, I'll read to you what it says. Special warrant articles per RSA 32(3)(6) are petitioned warrant articles with appropriations, warrant articles to issue bonds or notes, appropriations to or from a separate fund such as a trust, capital reserve, or special revenue fund. So that right there would make it, wouldn't it? Because it's
Yeah.
taking it out of the capital reserve.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding. You're right. If this 2014 law hasn't changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's,
Next time.
Or a warrant
update, you
article,
want me to have you
Yes.
bring them updated? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
or a warrant article designated
If
by
my
the
printer
governing body.
worked or my computer worked, I might have been able to do
Go
that.
buy a new printer.
No, it's, I can't get online.
You've got problems.
Yeah, it's almost 2 years. On, get on for a minute, and I'm gone.
Wow.
Yeah, reboot the router, 5 minutes to load up, get on, happy as a clam. 10 minutes down the road, gone.
So then does that definition include 19?
19?
It says petition,
Right, yes,
yeah,
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
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 Yeah. So,
And if there were a fire truck that were, I mean, a highway truck or something that was a lease purchase and stretched out over a couple of years, it would be special too, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Now 19, did we ever figure out if the existing library improvement capital reserve fund can be used for new construction? Or that's still up in the air?
So, when they wanted that on a couple, was it last year, or the year before? When did they have that to change the purpose?
Last 2 years.
I believe so, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it must have been 2 years before, yeah.
They did
Everyone's understanding was that building a new library absolutely
It's my
was
fault, so we
not
have to vote on
what that capital reserve fund was intended for.
it. I didn't think it was a.
When Andrew and Elena came to the selectmen's meeting the other day, they suggested that they were told by the New Hampshire Municipal Association that it's up to the trustees' interpretation, and they very well may believe that that is correct. Trustees, do you remember when that was, when they did the architectural, they had that bill for the architect?
Yes,
That was,
That's
yeah,
that was when I was on the
Yeah.
trustees.
and the trustees determined that that was not an appropriate use of that fund, so I guess that's why you keep voting in different people. So you get the ones who will give you the answer you want, right?
So maybe the 40,000 can be used, plus it's gonna be a 2/3 majority then?
Yes.
I would say if that applies to the ambulance, it would apply to that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did not discuss that one. I didn't think there was a money warrant article that is, so we have to vote.
Oh, you know what, we didn't recommend for or against it either, we didn't
Right.
even think of that because it was money.
Right,
Because I didn't want to pull a Sean Frost and be recommending against petition warrant articles, I thought that was.
no, I know, but we're, as far
You
as,
have to, because it's
the-
warrant money.
yeah, as far as the budget committee goes, it is a money warrant
Yeah.
article, so we do have to vote on it. So if everybody will take a read, yes,
Well, I'm sorry, I don't,
we didn't vote on number 19.
19.
It's a money warrant article. We have to vote on all money warrant
Right,
articles.
okay.
Even though the selectmen did not, they don't have to. But because it concerns money, we have to.
Okay. So all of the, just for the minutes, so I understand this, for all of the articles that we did go through, we made motions to accept,
Yes,
that phrase is what we were
right, the budget committee
approving
recommends.
for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we're gonna do number 19. Will the town vote to raise and appropriate $210,000 for the purpose of constructing the first phase of a new library, a two-library road, also known as a gray lot, donated to the town for this express purpose. $40,000 to come from the existing library improvement capital reserve fund, and $170 to be accepted as a gift from the Friends of Grafton Library. This phase will include the pouring of a concrete slab, the assembly of a barn frame already acquired and disassembled by Fogel, a roof and exterior envelope. Further, to delegate the construction of the library to the library trustees. No money to be raised for taxation.
would somebody want to take a look at that or something?
I think Jake has that ours.
Not just yet, hang on. Thank you.
Don't move your hand, hold it steady there.
Is it very long?
No,
Go ahead.
I don't wanna read it, if somebody wants to take a look.
Cindy, go ahead, we'll give you a minute. to
That's
read.
okay.
Leaf is reading it.
Leaf's got it.
It's 32.6, Jake.
I
Thirty-two
got
seven
30.
A,
What is it?
32.7 A, that's the one.
Appropriations for capital projects.
Mhm.
Were you making up,
No, I got cut off before I could finish reading the explanation of what a special warrant article was, so I didn't get to that.
no, it wasn't in regards to the three-fifths. No, I'm saying it's in there, so.
Oh, it is 3/5?
Yep.
But there's something about, was that a lucky
That's
guess?
how-
Oh, 3/5 as opposed to 2/3.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
they're both
all right.
mentioned as an option.
That's right, I remember they changed that 2
Yeah.
years ago, I think. That's
By
right.
the affirmative vote of 2/3 of those present in voting, or by the affirmative vote of 3/5 of those voting on the question in a town or district.
Really?
Yeah, so,
When you scroll down
That's
and
clear as
read
mud.
read the last date on there, that it was amended.
So it's a 2/3?
Right, 2/3 or
I-
3/5.
Effective 2013.
Oh, is that long ago?
No, so that was before
no,
this.
It was
Right.
a couple of years ago. It was just a couple of years ago it was changed.
So it
No,
was,
2016, New
There we
Hampshire
go,
revised
16, a
statute.
couple of years ago, boy time flies.
there you go.
All right, back to 19.
Did you finish reading that?
Yes, I did.
It didn't say anything about hundred.
You want to have a discussion? or you want us to
Yes.
just vote?
Somebody want to discuss it? Got to put it to you, I believe that because it came in, I don't know if the library has talked to you, or maybe should I go to
Well,
Leaf?
the library did bring this to us, to this last selectmen's meeting,
Yeah.
and we refused to put it on the warrant, so I think that pretty much tells you we would absolutely recommend against it. We do not support this whatsoever.
Right,
They had
but
to
as far
petition
as,
it.
but as far as knowledge about it, well, maybe I should go to Leaf because he's the
Yeah,
library.
he's the liaison.
Yeah.
Oh, is that good?
What's the scoop on this? I mean, we're just reading it, so we've got no idea what they're looking to do, or,
They want to start building. Just like it says, start with foundation and want to start next year.
yeah.
Although they're not even close to, their master plan.
Well, that's it, although, so that's what I'm looking for. Is there any plans, any building designs, or,
There's an architect,
No.
there's what?
an architect,
There is?
Recently?
yes.
How was that brought up?
But,
So
Yeah.
see these, every line that's pink here? These are all the lines, all the steps that were supposed to take place according to the library strategic plan that we spent almost a year putting together. That were supposed to take place before anybody was coming to anybody with, asking for money from the people or ready to build.
No money to be raised.
Of these, none have been completed. None.
it's not a question of, there's money coming out of the capital reserve, so that's money from the townspeople.
And I'd like to add that in October, Susan Feinberg invited all of us who were part of the strategic plan to come, and she was going to give a presentation on an update of where we're at a year later. This wasn't even mentioned. We were not ready for this. So why they're jumping the gun, I can't imagine. They did not give us an explanation whatsoever.
But
No.
I wouldn't hold that so much against them, because even though they had a strategic plan, plans change. So it's not contractual.
Oh, absolutely not, but we spend all this time saying, these are the steps we're gonna put in place because we've been told no so many times. We wanna make sure we do this right. And we're gonna go through and we're gonna study this and we're gonna have numbers and we're not gonna jump the gun. And like I said, October, we just met and this wasn't even mentioned. So within 2 months, they went from, we're making good progress on the steps we have to, let's build a building. And
Why don't we wait till the year 2060?
2060,
We'll all be gone.
Wouldn't that please everybody?
So I think the problem with this is it kind of leaves us suspended
yes.
because, you know, where is the rest of the money gonna come from? If they had put something in that, and I don't know if you could do that to have a proper warrant article, if perhaps they had grants lined up, you know, like, I don't wanna see a lot with a concrete foundation on it and nothing else. And then the other thing is delegate the construction of the library to the library trustees. Who owns this building in the end? Doesn't the town?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so should the town not be involved in the construction?
Is there anything known beyond phase 1?
That's the whole point.
That's another question they weren't able to answer. So this is
There's
phase
no
1 of how many
septic,
phases?
There's no well, there's no interior
The
stuff.
foundation was built up, and that way another 5 years to
Right, yeah.
do electricity,
Is there a
septic.
On there, is there a septic system on it?
There is
There
a
was a house, right?
Yes, but there is a septic there, but because it's been filled in and not in use for so long, that it's no longer usable.
Okay.
And the thing being is, and the one thing that I've heard that the library people that are doing this did not take into consideration at all is there was 2 buildings on there before. There was a big house, 2-story house, and there was also a garage. When the house took and burnt, that stuff was not removed from the site. That was all buried on the site. So that's additional money that,
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't know that either.
Paul,
Wow.
put that back up.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, 350 Dean, but
Oh, yeah, no,
I'm good.
absolutely. No, I'm with you. My brain went to the same place. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're saying there could be asbestos in the ground too?
Nobody knows. I'm not gonna say there is or isn't, just
Wow.
that there's a cleanup process that's gonna, if the building is put on there, that has to be done.
Is there a well there?
Yes, there is a well.
But yeah, who
but,
knows, who knows the condition of that either?
Exactly,
Yeah.
with all this stuff in the ground, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
So they buried oil cans and everything.
exactly, there was gas cans in the garage,
Right,
underneath the garage that were full of gas.
so it could be
So
a
now
town
it's a
field
field
site,
Exactly.
yeah.
I hate to be the bearer of the news, but I was asked that about a week ago, what happened to the site? And
This could end up costing the town quite a bit of money. Because
exactly,
we're on the hook to clean it up. We own it.
exactly.
I see another problem with this warrant article. It says no money to be raised from taxation. What do you call that $40,000 to come from the existing library capital reserve fund? That was raised from taxation.
Right, that's why Catherine said there's no money coming from taxation, but there is, because that money was already raised by the taxpayers and put in it. So it is taxpayer money.
Right.
And it does not take and go on and say, after this phase, what is going to be done and who's going to be responsible for everything after that. And how,
Can I ask you a personal question? Do you ever look at the glass half full?
no, half empty. I like it better when it's half empty.
Yeah, then he's had some of it.
Obstructionism, I understand.
Yeah.
Wow. 75.
Yeah.
I know we need to figure this one out.
And I'm kind of curious, there's really $170,000 in from in Vogel?
No idea,
That's
because,
a lot of money.
Well,
Holy
but
They
smokes.
never will reveal their money.
exactly, so you don't know what's,
Mm.
no, how much money Fogel has, because from what I hear, is they won't let you know what, how much
Open their
money.
books, yeah.
So I don't know.
501.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have to let you know.
Yep.
Tax returns, that's the only thing they'll give you, tax
That's right.
returns.
Well, we should do a 91A.
Good
That
luck.
doesn't
Hey,
apply to
Gabby
a
said
non-
I could come up
that doesn't
anytime
apply to a
tomorrow and see
nonprofit, no.
It
financials.
doesn't? Their books are supposed to be totally open to us, to the
Exactly.
public.
Because,
You don't even need a 91A. You're supposed to be walk in there and say, listen, I want to see all this stuff.
right, because they're a nonprofit, it's supposed
Ask
to be
the
open.
charitable trust unit at the Secretary of State's office, or is it DOJ, whichever one, the charitable trust unit, where Terry Knowles.
Yeah.
is from.
DOJ.
Yeah, they'll tell you, no,
Tell you what.
all they really have to tell you is, yes, we file our tax returns,
Well,
yes, we,
You
there-
know, you
yes,
have
we have
to
this
tax
much,
returns.
Then you,
we're within this threshold or that
then
threshold.
you call the feds, because there's two places where they have to be open and honest, and call the IRS.
And if
IRS.
that did you any good, the auxiliary would not exist in this town, cause I did that and they didn't do a damn thing about it, so.
The IRS says they only have to give you their tax returns. They do not have to show you bank accounts or anything.
Oh, not a bank account, but, so how does a person make a good decision related to this if they don't have access to all the information that they need?
Exactly.
Well, what happens if one of the account or sum is cannot be satisfied?
Right. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have it, but I haven't seen a lot of things going on in town that would raise that kind of money. I mean, a pie sale, how much are you get from a pie sale or a book sale or things like that? I think it's great if they have.
Well, the book sale was the library, and they made like $236.
Oh, it was the
Across the
library,
line.
it wasn't Vogel,
Wasn't
okay.
full.
So how did Vogel make all that money?
Donations, I think.
Probably a
No.
fair amount of donation, yeah,
I mean, you look who's in that, I mean, they do know how to fundraise,
yeah.
yeah.
So do you think they could fundraise for the rest of it, so we don't have to pay for it?
Well, and then the maintenance and upkeep and utilities and everything else
Exactly,
in perpetuity, sure.
And it's a bigger building
Right.
than the one that we can afford to take care of at this moment.
But I think I'm going to throw a different wrench into it, is what is the selectmen's view? Because if I understand from previous meetings, the selectmen have to give approval before anything get put on that peace permit. Am I right?
Mhm.
So has the selectmen taken and given approval to the library trustees to,
No.
so then, if the selectmen have said, no, we have not given approval to put any building or anything on that property, then what I'm saying right now is, this is a dead warrant article that we shouldn't
That's a
even be.
good point.
I mean, really, because if you can't take and put that building on it, why are we gonna take and give them the okay?
So have they have not come to you to ask permission to do this space?
No. No
So
more so
how
than they
can-
came to ask permission to put up garlic beds, put a sign on the property, put a picnic table there, or anything else, no. No, they have not asked permission for anything.
So,
So if they haven't asked for permission, why should we say yes?
or no, whatever.
Well, yeah, because, I mean,
We
Sounds
wouldn't be
like Congress.
responsible if we were to.
no, right, exactly. Yeah. I'm just bringing out some
Yeah, that's-
points.
yeah, that's a good point.
So how does that get resolved? If this goes to the town people, we can't take the warrant article off, right?
No, we cannot.
No.
But
If it goes to the town people and the town people say yes, then it goes to,
part of it depends on what we say, because the dollar amount, the budget can only go over so much. So any warrant article that we don't recommend has to,
right, and they take it in priority according to the order.
HMA has a whole section on what happens if the town approves an illegal warrant article.
right, yeah.
It's going, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jay?
Well, so if Article 7 passes and the library trustee would print like a warrant article from the town to spend money from the library capital reserve fund, does the current one from Article 19 give them power currently to expend, or would they need to next year put another warrant article? Does warrant Article 7 restrict warrant Article 19 for spending from that?
No, well, see, something to see, a lot of things in here, because the thing being is, they're asking the town to be able to put it on when it's supposed to be, they're bypassing the selectmen. They have not come to the selectmen and asked the selectmen at all, whether
They
they could.
did, they came and said no.
All right, so if they came and the selectmen said no, then why would we?
That was for the warrant article.
Well, the
you're
selectmen
saying,
said
right?
no to put the warrant article on.
Yes, I know.
Okay, but you can petition, you can do a petition.
I understand that, but in here, the way this is all written, is they're bypassing, asking the selectmen for approval to put this building there.
Right.
They're saying,
They're going on the assumption that they can't.
no, they're saying the hell with the selectmen, and
Well,
let's go to the townspeople and see what the townspeople say. That's the way I'm interpreting it, because it says, will the town,
Well, I'm interpreting on what it called, whatever it is, 7, that the selectmen are trying to ferment the townspeople to say they can't do anything.
well, after figuring out this
This is
other
a
warrant
political
article, it's
issue.
probably not a bad idea.
Well, I'm sure you think that.
I think that to answer Jake's question, number 7 would take away their current authority to withdraw money from that reserve fund.
Yeah, but if 19 passes, would they still have the power to do so? Like, it seems to me that they kind of contradict each other. Not contradict each other, but there's a potential situation where one says yes, one says no.
right, exactly, yes.
So how would that work?
You would still have to come to the selectmen approval of building on that lot.
Well,
Is
it
there a
seems like
lawyer
they're
in the
currently
house?
holding a legal permission.
Well, because with number 7 comes before 19, 7 would take precedent over 19.
Just because how it's.
Right, because of the way, I've had that arise before, where, depending on where it fell on the warrant article, like in this case here, number 7, if that passed, then 19 is basically, yeah.
And he gives the selectmen, says the selectmen have a final say if those goes up or not.
Right.
So it comes back to the
So you kind of use this.
So, somebody want to make a recommendation one way or another?
What was that?
I asked if somebody wanted to make a recommendation one way or another.
Oh, thank you.
Well, make a motion, you mean to accept this article, was it? Yes, I make the motion to accept the article,
No, it's to recommend for it or against it.
to recommend it,
Which one?
of course.
19.
19.
Somebody want to second it?
Come on, Sandy.
In this particular case, I'm sorry. And you know I would love a new library.
We're going to do it on recommended or not?
Seeing there was no second recommendation on Catherine's motion,
Fails, wow.
what?
My motion failed.
Yes.
Wow, terrific.
What?
Excuse me, her motion to what? What is?
Motion to recommend.
Motion to recommend.
Oh, okay.
That's all we're doing, is recommend or not recommend.
Okay, yeah.
She recommended it, nobody seconded it.
So do you need a motion to not recommend it?
Yes,
I'll make a motion to not recommend it.
somebody want to second it?
I will.
All All those in favor, not recommending the number 19 is read, say aye. Opposed, say
Nay, I'm not in favour.
So it goes down, that's not being recommended. Now,
We're making a motion to wrap up.
now we get to the budgets.
So now it opens the
This
public
is the
hearing.
public hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
Could you
I
have?
wasn't sure if we ended this meeting and then
Oh, please
went
have
on.
the other.
Because I do have copies here for people. Well, here, let me start here. Did you get one of these, Catherine?
Tried to, what was I doing?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Can we take the minutes, so Karen can go home, so she can go home? Remember you wanted them to come.
But we don't do that until after the public hearing.
Oh,
Do you want, you have a copy of this?
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
And Cindy, you have a copy of
Yes, I do, thank you.
something here?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make the changes after
Here's another.
the public
You
hearing.
asked me what you think it's tonight.
What's to do?
It's not, I think the way I understand it is that they were having theirs, and then we were having.
In front of us, when we do this portion,
Thank you.
and then we don't make a decision until,
Okay, Catherine. I just thought it was going to be a part of what a normal
no.
meeting is.
They must still be plowing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna usually shows up.
Right.
What's yours?
Is this just questions, or what is the form of?
Yeah, basically what she just passed out to you is that it gives you a breakdown of what the departments took and asked, what the selectmen recommended, and then what the budget committee finally recommended. I'll give you, everybody some time just to go through this pamphlet. Then I'll take any questions
Thank you.
that you have on any department.
What's that?
Meeting? Well, when is,
I don't know what it means to. And did you have one?
I didn't know. I thought,
he thought it was a Jack in the Box.
no, I thought it was a Christmas one.
I don't know if this is acceptable municipal protocol, but we've got candy.
RSA,
Leftover candy. Sure. Gary?
Did you all get copies of the budget?
Yes, I did.
So just to clarify in your mind,
Yes, really the good stuff for you.
and this DTV is how you calculated the default budget. It's the one that gets fall back on in the event this one does not get approved, right?
Right, yes.
Just want to be sure you understand.
Yep.
I want the box back though.
Got the
Isn't it still
Oh,
open?
library, no, because the
Oh,
library,
they do
not
different.
another department? Yeah, that's the question, is the library not a department?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
it is?
Is it not in there?
No.
It's in my copy.
It
It's
is?
in mine.
Parks and Rec on the back side of it.
Oh, look at the summary.
Oh, the summary.
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 It was.
It was, I remember being there. when-
Yeah, here it is right here, under Highway Department.
Yeah.
Oh, it's under highway?
No, I don't even have highway department either.
Exactly.
No, I don't need it.
Did we miss a page?
What the heck happened here? Well, I want you to know this cost me big
Oh,
money
so
to
is there
have
a
this
page
printed.
missing? There's a whole page missing, right? Mine starts with B,
What's on this side? What's at the bottom?
the budget summary,
Ambulance is on the bottom.
ambulance.
Ambulance is on the bottom of the one page and the next page starts with Parks and Rec.
Right.
But it's not out of order at all?
No, I just,
No?
no.
No.
Sorry about that.
Cemetery, emergency management, fire department, fire warden, highway, library,
You can't get good help.
rec committee.
Oh, we
Get
got
what you
rec
pay
committee.
for.
I paid a lot.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And rec is at the top, Parks and Recreation.
Huh?
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec, yeah, my bad, sorry. My alphabetical order is different. I don't have Parks and Rec, I have Recreation, so.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, the more important thing is the spreadsheet.
Actually, there were no highlights from those, so, sorry, you didn't miss anything.
Do you want to go home and take care of that, come back?
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no kidding. Did you get whatever you needed from Sarah about with this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When does somebody bring something up?
This is from 2 years ago when
Oh, wow.
you and I did it.
Yeah,
Take a look at it.
Cause she had this and she asked me,
right,
we couldn't find that form on the DRA's website at all.
yeah.
Is
So
that,
I wrote myself a big note, look really old one for Sarah now, cause she called me asking me and I walked out of the house without looking for it.
Right, right, I talked to Sue this afternoon, and she's gonna meet with Sarah on Sunday.
Yes.
We're gonna, Sue's gonna help Sarah do it because DRA is giving Sarah such a hard
Oh, yeah,
time.
yeah, absolutely. I just know that this was something, like 2 years ago, Sue asked you to fill it all out so she could put it in.
Right,
And then last year, I think Pam wanted to do it,
yeah,
and you guys did that, so,
right.
yeah.
Cindy, what form are you looking for?
Nothing. It's a town village budget worksheet that, it was an aside. I noticed Ed was done and I was just having a side chat. That's my son. That's Steve's daughter. Obviously, and that's the new son-in-law.
Steve's son.
No, this is my son
Oh.
and his daughter. These two just got married.
Oh, right.
Family picture, you know.
Right, it's just the way it is. I was thinking, first two is,
No. No, this guy and her.
nice.
Yeah. What else can we do to kill time over?
Oh, we could go and hit Paul, he keeps dozing off over there. in the
Is he?
lawn,
you guys are boring.
We are, we really are.
What do you want me to say?
I was trying to look to see if I had some of these. With the
Yeah.
missing page, but I cannot access it without the internet. It's in an email.
Go sit by that hot spot in the back of the room.
Exactly. Jay's got a hot spot back there. He might be willing to share it, I don't know.
Nah.
I contact them to go out.
So, we got an email this afternoon from Sarah, Nate Gray from the NHMA call. There's a bill coming up next week. Somebody introduced a bill that would require all selectmen and school board meetings to be recorded and live streamed.
We're gonna put more
Yeah.
money in the budget.
A lot more, and yeah, for equipment, to pay somebody to do it, I don't even know, where would you,
We get-
how do you live stream that? I don't think our town website would do that. If it did, it probably costs a lot of money for an upgrade.
You could simply do it on like a Facebook page or YouTube to save costs, but you have to make a live stream, to
Yeah.
edit that onto the website would be,
Because I think Canaan was doing it there for a while.
I don't know.
Let's
We
do
would
that.
move the meetings back to the fire station.
Why?
You're
Bandwidth.
not getting any service here.
Right, well, yeah, and that's just it. And that's what I would put in my testimony, is that we meet at the town hall and there is no internet, and Consolidated Communications been dicking us around for 2 years. They don't even have a port for us that we can even pay for, even if we had the money to pay for it. So, besides, this whole separating people and keeping them in their homes and only doing things electronically is just, it's gotta
Right.
stop.
Yep.
I like that people come to our meetings, and I like that they can ask a question and get an answer, and I like seeing people's faces, and besides in Grafton, who's got broadband that they could sit and watch it live stream?
And it gives you an opportunity to get dressed and go out.
Exactly, right. Gives me a reason to take a shower and put on clean clothes.
I'd rather be in my garden.
At least the top half.
Right.
Oh,
5 points for that one.
Just waiting for questions?
I see Jay and,
Oh, yeah, he's got a couple.
right.
well, for one, the summer receipts were up to 8.2 inflation. We were promised there was only gonna be 3.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I did not hear that.
peaked 1 month during the year to 8.2, but it ended at 7.1. For the last recorded one that I had, was November. They didn't come out with the December one as of yet when I printed that. Or when I wrote it.
Well, right, but that's not saying that. the
Inflation
budget's
is-
not-
No, the budget's not.
They were told last year it's gonna be only 3%.
Well, actually, the town budget's only increased, I think it was 2.3%, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're under that 3% that you were looking for, so.
Oh, no, I meant nationally, we were promised that.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you know, we're not politicians.
No. Thank God.
I just want to make one statement before people start asking questions, just so everybody's got a heads up. If you look under the selectmen's budget, this year, the selectmen have taken the dispatch fees from the police department, fire department, and ambulance, And so included in their budget, it's all now under the selectmen's budget, with one amount. It becomes very hard trying to figure out what it's gonna be, because Hanover's, that sets dispatch fees, their calendar year runs out in July, where ours runs out at the end of December. So it's hard to try to calculate what the three departments, what their share is. So it's easier just to go and put it under the selectmen's budget as one number.
Question.
Well, questions, Jay?
Go, Jay.
Police department,
Yeah.
$1,000 for animal care. What animal care?
Yeah, what that covers is, for that $1,000, we can take and not that we want to do it, we could take 100 dogs or cats over to Enfield, but
The Humane Society.
Humane Society, and it doesn't cost us anything. That $1,000 covers it all. So we could bring one animal over there, or we could bring 200 over there. We're not going to get charged above that 1,000.
So this is their, like, a yearly payment?
Yes, yeah.
And how many animals does the police department have?
I don't have those, it varies, because,
How many cows do you take?
oh,
These
don't,
cows?
don't go there, because nobody has touched those cows, and those cows run wild, and nobody can take it and get them all.
The thing is, if, say you get bit by someone else's dog that has no vaccinations, the dog is actually supposed to go to the Humane Society for quarantine
Right.
for 10 days. So that wouldn't cost the town anything. It'd cost the owner something, but not the town.
Why would it cost the owner of the town rate?
Because it's, for your dog to be quarantined, the Humane Society will charge the owner per day. Yeah. Instead of charging the town and then the owner.
Years ago, we used to pay per dog, and it
Right,
turned out to be
exactly. It
a
was
whole
really-
lot more money
yeah.
than what it is for the contract for the $1,000 a year.
That's not just dogs, it's
Are
cats, dogs.
these stray animals or what?
They could be a lost dog that somebody lost, and there's no way to identify the owner of the animal. I've got to make it clear that the only animal that they won't take at this point are those cows that keep coming back up the hill.
Sarah would take those in a heartbeat.
I wish she could.
Right, yes. Too
Don't
many
tempt
people
her.
are not happy with them.
I'd like to duffel them.
The 180 for 1,000 for wages for the highway. What happens to that money if they don't have employees?
Yeah, it just goes back into the town's general fund if it's not spent. It's like any other money in any of the departments. If at the end of the year it's not spent, it goes into the town's general fund.
Okay.
Can I just give you a summary? I know you don't have this page, and I do apologize sincerely, but with the highway department, one of the, they are short-staffed, as you just alluded to, and they're looking to fill positions. I don't know if they have already at this point, Cindy?
No.
No. So the select board had determined that they would increase the salary scale for that particular department and also expand it a more comprehensive healthcare package to attract people and to be competitive with the surrounding towns.
Regards to employment, was the 2 or 3 people who applied were not hired, or is that?
The
still in process?
selectmen performed to decide to do background checks on all employees, because they don't want to end up with a bad egg and then end up regretting it afterwards.
Saying that's still in process, basically.
Yes.
Under the selectmen budget, 20,000 for legal, is that a retained fee for lawyer?
That varies.
That's open?
Yes. If you looked at this year's budget, I think they were over, they ended up spending $25,000 for legal fees. So it all depends on what they could end up spending just $10,000, but if they don't have some money there to, then the town could end up in more trouble than,
But it's not a retainer fee, it's a per hour as needed,
Okay.
yeah.
There
It's
is no-
that's billable hours, yeah.
I see.
And the legal fees went up this year, the cost of a lawyer went up this year.
Every year.
right,
Along with everything else.
right. Gary, yeah, did you have a question, Gary?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's the amount right now in the, if I get this term right, the unexpected, fund?
Expended.
Unexpended,
I can't remember that term. About, how much is that? Have an idea?
What are you saying, Gary, ask
How
her?
much is left in the?
What the
unexpended-
unexpended balance is.
yeah, unexpended fund
Funded
balance.
balance, okay, whatever that thing is, I can't remember all that. Just curious.
Do you remember? Like, that came up when we set the tax rate, and I don't even remember where we were at,
And
honestly.
you took the,
You know, like
took
700,
1,000 from it,
Yeah.
the tax rate,
Yeah.
okay.
it was like 700,000.
So there's
We took like
700,
4 from
I-
it, right?
I so don't remember, I don't even wanna say a number and have it be extremely
all
wrong.
right, okay, just curious.
I know we kept the town's taxes down. Oh, the school killed us, but
Yeah, I was just wondering how much is left after that.
I don't know.
The thing being is, something that people have to remember is, it's not like they can take all that money and spend. They can only
Right.
take like 10% of all that, of what's in there to expend.
Well, the DRA recommends that you hold on to somewhere between 5 and 15% of your annual expenditures.
Yeah.
And I think after we bought down the tax rate, we're at like 11.5%.
I believe so.
I think that was the number we were at then.
Okay, so we brought down the tax rate. Was there any talk of, I guess, funding any of the warrant articles or anything like that to?
The only one we talked about funding out of that was
Ambulance.
no, not the ambulance.
It was highway, wasn't it?
There was it the bridge? I think it was bridge.
The bridge we got that
Yeah.
mistake.
Okay, all right.
Did I lose my name or something? I already moved on. Yeah, I think, wasn't it?
100.
It was the bridge one we just
Yeah.
talked about, yeah.
All right.
Bridge, yes.
Yes, thank you.
That was it, okay.
Yeah. And the other thing to keep in mind with that unexpended fund balance, we found out last year, apparently Mascoma Bank had been letting us take out a tax anticipation note every year, and they shouldn't have been, without jumping through 14 more fiery hoops and having to pay taxes on it if we would need to use it. So they were giving us a particular type of loan guarantee that was tax-free, that when some new go-getter attorney at Drummond and Woodson found out, oh, you're not supposed to do that, that's not right. So we've completely taken that off the table. We won't even go for a TAN because we've been doing such a good job with handling our money. So that's another reason to keep that money in that fund balance. So
Okay.
should things, for lack of a better term, should hit the fan, should inflation continue to go at the rate it is or worse,